So back in mid-2018, I made a video counting down my top 25 favorite Linkin Park songs at the time. And looking back, it was actually a pretty successful video. But if there was definitely one thing that was noticeable about it, it was the exclusion of non-single tracks from the post-Meteora era of the band. And I'm sure some of you are wondering if I just didn't like that stuff, and if I was just some Hybrid Theory Meteora fanboy that got triggered at their new stuff for sounding different, when in reality, I just didn't listen to them at the time, which is exactly why we are here today. I remember the second I was done listening to Minutes to Midnight, 1000 Suns, Living Things, and The Hunting Party in full, that I knew I had made a mistake, and I knew I made my judgments way too early. And considering that today is now the 3rd anniversary of Chester's passing, I figured that I might as well update this list for the last time. But before we begin, I must mention a few things. First off, this list will not be including any of the Linkin Park Underground tracks, because I feel I have more than enough official ones to choose from now than I did back then. And if you're curious as to which new ones I would have included, they would have been the Part of Me demo, the Figure 09 demo, and Across the Line. Beyond that, if you want to see my placements for the Hybrid Theory EP tracks, for example, then I highly recommend watching the original video. And just like last time, this list will only be including songs with the name Linkin Park attached to them, which excludes stuff from side projects and collaborations such as Sometimes by Grey Days, Let Down by Dead by Sunrise, Remember the Name by Fort Minor, etc. I believe I've explained enough details here, so without further ado, let's get this list started. But first off, the honorable mentions. This time around, I decided to narrow it down to just 12, so I hope you enjoy the selections I made, and don't get too upset that your favorite song won't be on the list. I mean, this is my opinion after all, so...
Pingas! Whoa!
Can you honestly explain to me what the point of that was?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, understand. Get out.
Find me eat crop on the top of Jupiter!
Okay. Okay.
I'm just talking to myself. Ooh, talking to myself. And then it's your rock star. Mission on, watch it drop. Making the rock star. Just before you hit the floor. Graffiti decorations under a sky of dust. A constant wave of tension on top of broken trust. Whoa. And I give it all away.
Starting things off with number 25, we have the bonus track from Hybrid Theory once again, My December. An important detail I forgot to mention about this song last time was that it was actually recorded specifically for a Christmas compilation album, and it was written while the band was away on the road. And not only that, but it was also written in just 2 days. Man, if only I could write a song in 2 days. Oh wait. Now beyond that, there's not much else I can say about this song that I haven't said before. It's good, it's about being away from loved ones, and it was one of the earliest signs of Linkin Park being more than just a rock band. An all around great track. At number 24, we have the instrumental track from Meteora, Session. Now this is a track that I definitely wouldn't have included if I did this list any earlier, as up until a few months ago I honestly didn't care for it. But as of April, I've grown really fond of this. Like with Ambient and Cure for the Itch, Session is an instrumental that features piano and turntable scratching primarily. Mike made most of the track by himself and added Joe, Brad, and Dave later on. Session acts as sort of a calm before the storm kind of track, as it comes just before Numb in the album. Some may find that it interrupts the pacing, but I for one really like how it comes in. I went from not really caring for this song to actually really liking it. It's crazy how opinions can change like that over time.
Cards and flowers on your window.
Coming in at number 23, we have Shadow of the Day from Minutes to Midnight. Honestly, what can be said about this song that hasn't been said already? It was one of the first big instances of Linkin Park completely changing up their sound, as it has a more pop-oriented feel and sound than some of their past work has had, which could be a turn-off for certain fans. The thing I like the most about this song is the build-up. It starts out very slow and mellow, and later on adds drums, then a simple yet effective guitar solo, which eventually leads to the very powerful climax. If there was anything to nitpick about it, it's that the last 30 seconds feels a bit out of place and sounds more like an opener than a closer. Aside from that though, this is a great song and it's easily one of their deepest period. Can't say much more than that.
I don't know what's worth fighting for, or why I have to scream. I don't know why I instigate and say what I don't mean.
At number 22, dropping a whopping 11 spots from its original position, we have Breaking the Habit from Meteora. Now of course when I say it like that, it makes it seem like I don't like this song as much anymore. But honestly, this is just what happens when you dig deeper into the catalog. You're bound to find songs you like a lot more. And that's the most I can say for this song. I don't like it, or dislike it more than I did before. I just love a lot more songs now than I used to. That's not to take away from the greatness of Breaking the Habit though, as like with My December, it was one of the earliest instances of the band trying out different styles beyond what they were used to. As the song is primarily driven by strings and piano, with the guitars never reaching past 11. And the vocals. Man, the vocals. Chester's vocals on this song are nothing short of fantastic. He really makes this song what it is, and I cannot imagine what it would sound like without him. Unless we're talking about the demo version where Shinoda sings.
I don't know what we're fighting for, or why we have to scream.
Yeah, I still can't believe that was real.
I'm with you. Now I see, keeping everything inside. Now I see, even when I close my eyes.
Dropping down from its original spot at number 20, we have With You from Hybrid Theory. Now, given that this is yet another re-entry from last time, I don't really have much to add here, as there really doesn't seem to be too much background on this song. At all. Don't get me wrong, it's still a really good song, and it showcases some of the best of Mike's and Chester's chemistry, but overall, there's not much else to say here. With You is a good song, and that's really all I can say about it.
I've become so numb, I can't feel you there.
At number 20, we have yet another re-entry, but one that is extremely deserving in my opinion, Numb from Meteora. You all know the song. For a few years now, it was actually the only Linkin Park song to reach over 1 billion views on YouTube. Up until more recently, where In the End has also hit the same milestone. Going into this list, I knew Numb wasn't going anywhere. Even still to this day, it is by far the most recognizable song they have, and every single lyric in it is iconic. A song like this and In the End go beyond just being great songs. While Numb isn't my personal favorite of theirs, you cannot understate the impact it has left on people. It's in that special list of songs where it doesn't matter how many times you have heard it, it's still enjoyable. Of course I can go over the song itself and explain what it means to me in particular, but I think I'll save that bit for another song. As it stands though, Numb is a classic, and I cannot say much more than that. A truly great and iconic song even outside of the band's catalog, right up there with the likes of Boston's More Than a Feeling, which is another one of my all-time favorite songs. Coming in at number 19, we have the remix version of P5hng Me A. As somebody who really likes both this and the Hybrid Theory original, I just knew that I had to go with this one. For as good as the original is, I think this one is just a bit better. The live version, that is. The studio version, while good in its own right, doesn't compare to just how amazing the live version is. Which I can't show you, since using any Live in Texas footage will get this video blocked, but trust my word on it. What really makes this version stand out in my opinion is Shinoda's soft vocals, which are done by a guest vocalist in the studio version.
It's so hard to be left all alone. Telling you is the only chance for me. There's nothing left but to turn and face you.
The chemistry of Mike and Chester really shines on this track, and it showed us that even early on, Shinoda was a good singer. Vocals are good, the chorus is arguably better than the original, and the overall sound is something you really need to hear for yourself. Especially live. The studio version doesn't showcase the full power nearly as well as the live version does, which is arguably one of their best live performances, period. If it wasn't for that, I'd still prefer the original, but both are good in their own rights.
Let's try something else.
At number 18, we have the instrumental track from Hybrid Theory, Cure for the Itch. Little side note about this song, I remember seeing the title for it when I first got into Linkin Park back in 2017, and I was really expecting it to be more of a standard track. Imagine my disappointment when I found out it was just an instrumental. But make no mistake, Cure for the Itch is a great instrumental track that serves as sort of a calm before the storm like Session on Meteora does. The song was made exclusively by Shinoda and Han, and it was their attempt at making a song without words. What an attempt it was, because despite this being the only instrumental track on Hybrid Theory, it's a damn good one, and I really like the direction it goes in 50 seconds in. It went from being a track that disappointed me, to one that I absolutely love and appreciate, and I appreciate so much that it ended up on this list.
Another day, your truth will come. You're gonna pay for what you've done.
At number 17, we have the closer from The Hunting Party, A Line in the Sand. Something that's interesting to note about this song is that it was actually written during the 1000 Suns era, but didn't really find its place until the writing process for The Hunting Party. A Line in the Sand is a long song. I'm talking 6 minutes and 37 seconds long. Despite its length, it honestly never overstays its welcome. The song has 5 different sections mixed into one. The opening is very ominous sounding with Shinoda's haunting vocals, which then leads into the main riff of the song, which sounds like it was ripped straight from the song Victimized off of Living Things. The chorus, which appears 3 times throughout, a rap section, a guitar solo, until it eventually ends off right where it started with the ominous sound and haunting vocals. While this was at one point one of my least favorites off of The Hunting Party, it quickly grew on me and now it stands as one of my favorites on the album, which is saying a lot because I love every song on it. Truly an underrated gem of a track.
I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Coming in at number 16, we have yet another well-deserved re-entry, In the End from Hybrid Theory. Here's a fun fact about this song. Prior to becoming a single for Hybrid Theory, this was actually Chester's least favorite on the album at one point, and he originally didn't even want it to be a single. Man, imagine just how different things would have been if In the End never got as big as it did. I know I couldn't be able to. Now I did eventually come around on it though, with Runaway taking its place as being one of his least favorites. There's not much more I can say about this juggernaut of a song here. It's a classic just like Numb is, and it's just as iconic as it too. So instead, I'll be telling my story on how I first got into this band, in a bit more detail than I did last time. The time period was December of 2016, and I had just watched a video featuring the song. The video was a Minecraft UHC highlights video titled Intro, and it was uploaded by the YouTuber Dante. It was this video and another video by my good friend Puddle of Pizza that led me to checking out the band for myself. Prior to this point, I only really ever listened to video game music, Minecraft parodies, and the first Boston album, and while I heard plenty of songs from artists like Metallica, Godsmack, Puddle of Mud, AC/DC, and of course Linkin Park, they never really clicked with me. After rediscovering the song from these videos, I then went on a binge, and I checked out all of their singles back to back, which eventually led to me checking out the first two albums in their entirety. And it was at this moment that I knew I was a fan. It was thanks to rehearing this song that I became a Linkin Park fan, and I am extremely grateful for that. Like with Numb, it's also in that special place of songs that I will never get tired of hearing, and perhaps this is one of the reasons why. My experience with this song didn't involve radio overplay or listening to the album, it involved me watching a video that happened to include it, so for that reason it will never get old for me. This song is the reason why I became a Linkin Park fan, and I will always love it for that reason alone. And because it's just damn good. What more can I say? At number 15, we have Roads Untraveled from Living Things. This song is nothing short of beautiful. The vocals are great, starting out with Mike in the first verse before transitioning to Chester in the second, eventually building up to the chorus which combines both of them together. Which we have established that the chemistry between the two is where Linkin Park shines the most, and this song is no exception to that. There's nothing to really nitpick about this one, it's just a fantastic song that showcases the best of the band. Truly magical.
It's like a paranoid looking over my back. It's like a whirlwind inside of my head. It's like a...
At number 14, we have yet another well-deserved re-entry, Papercut. Like I've stated before, this is the quintessential song for the band, so much so that even half of the band agrees with that sentiment. Yet another fantastic song that showcases everything the band was about back in the early days. Not much more to say about it as it is another re-entry, so let's move on to the next one.
There's a fragile game we play with the ghost of yesterday. If we can't let go, we'll never say goodbye.
At number 13, we have Mark the Grays from The Hunting Party. Get used to seeing The Hunting Party on here. I absolutely love that album. This song is underrated. So underrated that it was never actually played live. Kinda like two other entries that we haven't seen yet. One thing to note about it is it was actually one of the earliest demos in the Hunting Party cycle, and it was actually planned to be the album opener before they decided Keys of the Kingdom was the better fit. It's yet another fantastic song with a good build-up and kick-ass drumming from Rob Bourdon, who was at his best on this particular album. I really can't praise it enough. Stuff like this really makes me regret making my original list before listening to all the albums, because I missed out on gems like this. But hey, better late than never.
When the lights go out and we open our eyes, out there in the silence, I'll be gone.
Coming in at number 12, we have I'll Be Gone from Living Things. Like with A Line in the Sand, this song was originally written during the 1000 Suns sessions, and its original name was Primo. I really love this song. In fact, it was actually this song in particular that gave me the idea to start working on the sequel to the Rudy movie, which never actually happened, but still. I'll Be Gone is in that same list as other songs like Easier to Run, Let Down, Over Again, and that it's one of my go-tos whenever I'm feeling extremely down. While it may seem like a typical song to some fans, to me this is one of their deepest and most powerful overall. Lyrically, it is the song that comes to my mind the most when discussing what happened with Chester. While I'm certain that it definitely wasn't intended to mean that, it definitely comes off that way, and the lyrics reading,
Until the night, I couldn't tell myself. Until the night was alone. Oh, tell me I am the only one, and there's nothing that can stop me.
really give off that impression. That aside, this is a fantastic song and another one I consider vastly underrated.
It's easier
Run? This song is still just as powerful and rough to listen to as when I first heard it. The line, "Take all the shame to the grave I would," still hits hard. What's fascinating to note about this song is that it's actually the band's least favorite song overall. Which I just gotta say, what? I mean, I get that it's extremely dark and depressing, even for Linkin Park standards, but compared to other tracks like One Step Closer and Crawling, Easy to Run has the most depth and emotion of their first two albums. Lyrically, it's about running away from your problems. And the lyrics in the verses came from Chester just freely writing, so this song is about as raw as you can get. Regardless of what the band themselves think of it, I love this song, and it's still one of the go-tos for whenever I am feeling down. The power here is truly unmatched. Kicking off the top 10, we have All for Nothing from The Hunting Party. This song is just fucking awesome, and I don't know how to describe it. It features guest vocals from Paige Hamilton of Helmet, and it is just an epic track. You know how there are just some songs that you love, but just can't explain why? Yeah, this is one of them for me. I guess I could also mention that this is one of the two songs I was alluding to earlier that have never been played live. But beyond that, let's move on before I get too sucked into this, because I love this song, man. I just love it. Oh. Dropping a few spots from last time, we have The Catalyst from 1000 Suns. While 1000 Suns may be my personal least favorite album from them, yes, I said it, The Catalyst still remains as one of my all-time favorite songs, and like I've mentioned before, the build-up of the track is the main reason why. In fact, I can't listen to the single version because it excludes a lot of the build-up, which is by far the best part of the song. Overall, The Catalyst is still an amazing track, and the build-up and chemistry between Mike and Chester here is unmatched. Retaining its original placement, we have A Place for My Head once again. One thing to note about this song is that it was one of the earliest demos the band has ever written. Past that, I don't have anything else to add beyond that. The screams are just as epic as always, and I still really love this song even all these years later. Something about it is just... it's just good, like, that's all I gotta say. At number 7, we have In My Remains from Living Things. Real talk, I was honestly very surprised this one ended up as high as it did, but once I took a moment to think about it, yeah, it makes sense. There's not much to note about this one, it's just a damn good upbeat song that makes you feel good. If there was anything else to add, it's that I love the second half, where Mike and Chester would both sing, like an army falling, one by one by one. Like an army falling, one by one. Apart from that, this is yet another song that I just love because I love it. It just makes me feel good, man, that's all. Light on the horizon was brighter yesterday. Shadows running over, skies began to fade. Coming in at number 6, we have Final Masquerade from The Hunting Party. Oh boy, this song is amazing, and not only is it amazing, but it's also pretty special to me, honestly, as it was one of the 3 songs that I listened to the most when I was going through one of the hardest times of my entire life. My cats disappeared, I was disappointed by the video lineup that period, and I was going through a lot of changes that I wanted to suppress entirely. Let's just say it wasn't very pretty. It eventually got to the point where I considered giving up and ending it all right then and there. Until I got the idea in my head to do a cover. And the song cover I had the idea for was in fact this song. Shortly after releasing that cover, as well as my lengthy thread on my Instagram, I was feeling a lot better, and ever since then I have been at my best, with no signs of slowing down. Experiences like this can change how you feel about a certain song, especially when they're as deep as this was. Not to say that I didn't like the song beforehand, because I did. I really did. This experience enhanced it in a way that I would have never predicted. What was at one point a song that I loved has become something that I adore and cherish unlike any other. In terms of the song itself, it's great and it has a really good vocal performance from Chester. But honestly, you already come to expect that. It's one thing to love a song for how it feels and sounds, but it's another to love a song based off of your experiences and how it has helped you even at some of your lowest points. That's something truly amazing.
Fire needs a space to burn, a breath to build a glow.
Kicking off the top 5, we have Until It's Gone from The Hunting Party. Are you noticing something here? Fun fact, this was originally considered for the first list, but I scrapped it since I found a ton of other songs that I liked a lot better. Until It's Gone was based around the idea of building to a drop, and damn does it do it well. Lyrically, it's about not really knowing what you have until you no longer have it, which is a feeling I know all too well. The thing I love the most about this song is the chorus. Not only is it powerful, but it's also extremely beautiful as well, easily in the top 10 when it comes to choruses in Linkin Park songs.
Let's go.
May be a very simple track lyrically, but that aside, it's a hell of a tune and it gets me pumped up whenever I listen to it. I may have excluded it last time, but there was no way I was making that same mistake again. Till It's Gone is not only one of the best tracks off of The Hunting Party, it's also one of their best tracks, period. I cannot get enough of it.
In the memory you'll find me as burning up.
At number 4, we have yet another re-entry, Forgotten. This song still gets me hyped, man. I mean, obviously, as it is still in the same position as last time. Like with A Place for My Head, Forgotten is one of the band's earliest songs, originally titled Rhinestone. This song instantly smashes you right in the face with its bouncy feel and loud, yet still melodic vocal performances from Chester. My favorite part of it is definitely the bridge, which has Mike repeating the words "Now you got me caught in the act" to bring the thought back, while Chester screams it and then later on just sings to the music.
Now you got me caught in the act, you bring a thought back, telling you that I see it right through you. Now you got me caught in the act, you bring a thought back, telling you that I see it right through you.
I can go on and on and on about why I love this song, but considering this video is already long enough, I won't subject you to that. Instead, let's move on to the next entry. I'm sure it won't be as epic sounding as this one.
No control, no surprise. Turn the keys to the kingdom down that hole in my name. I'm my own casualty. I fuck up everything I see, fighting the future.
At number 3, we have Keys to the Kingdom from The Hunting Party, and holy hell, I cannot contain just how much I love this song. This song is so good, man. What can I... Seriously, dude, this song is just fucking badass the entire way through. And it was one of the main reasons why I couldn't wait to redo this list, as I couldn't believe I excluded it! My most distinct memory of this song comes from when I was listening to Minutes to Midnight, 1,000 Suns, and Living Things all the way through. Minutes to Midnight was enjoyable, 1,000 Suns disappointed me a bit, and Living Things was pretty damn solid. Going into it, I already knew The Hunting Party was going to be a heavier album, but holy crap, I never expected it to be this good! Keys to the Kingdom left an impression on me that was so massive, so amazing, that I went into other albums expecting something that will give me just as big of an adrenaline rush. Granted, that was a bad idea, and it led me to unfairly judging both the self-titled and Awake albums from Godsmack, which later on became some of my favorites. But it was because of this song that I did that, because it left that good of a first impression. My experiences with it aside, the riffs are nasty as hell, the vocals are fantastic and feature more screaming from Chester, and the overall feel of this track is enough to instantly get me going. When it comes to songs that get me instantly motivated, this, the next 2 songs coming up, Crush 40's His World, and Godsmack's Bad Magic are at the top of that list. This track is lightning in a bottle, and it is, in my opinion, the most underrated song they have, an experience that was once in a lifetime. Yeah, you already knew this wasn't going anywhere. I cannot stress this enough. Points of Authority was, and still is, one of my favorite songs of all time, and I still get pumped up whenever that riff starts. One thing to note about this song is that it, for the longest time, didn't have a chorus, and the original chorus was just supposed to be forfeit the game before somebody else takes you out of the frame line over and over and over. Which, thankfully, they didn't do that. because I don't think I could stomach that much repetition, nor would that ever become one of my all-time favorites. Beyond what I just said though, I have nothing else to add here. This is an amazing song, and it still remains as one of my all-time favorites regardless of how much time has passed. Truly a masterpiece. And with that, we have reached the end of the list. And normally I'd have some kind of gigantic build-up to the number 1 entry, but honestly, you already know what it is. It's Faint. Yep, the number 1 spot here is yet another re-entry, but hey, this is in my opinion the most deserving one. You dudes know how I feel about this song at this point. While it's not one that I go out of my way to listen to nowadays, that's honestly why I still love it as much as I do. With other songs like Burn It Down, One Step Closer, and What I've Done, I've grown rather tired of listening to them, and the magic that they once had just doesn't stand out to me anymore. That isn't the case with Faint though. Sometimes overplay really isn't the best option, and it can lead you to growing tired of certain tracks, which is why I still love Faint as much as I do, because I don't overplay it. In fact, I listen to it just as frequently as I do She Couldn't, which is not much at all. And that's really all I can say about Faint nowadays, as it's not a song that I have a deep connection with like Final Masquerade and In the End are, nor is it a song that instantly pumps me up like Keys of the Kingdom or Points of Authority. To be honest, I was considering leaving it off since I thought the climax would be a bit too predictable, but at the end of the day, Faint is a song that I still love, despite not having as deep of a connection to it. It's a song that takes me back to that 2017 period where I would just play Minecraft and listen to the singles on repeat, which is something that I definitely need from time to time. It's like More Than the Feeling by Boston, a song that instantly takes me back to the time period of when I first heard it. Not the most amazing or complex thing out there, but it's something that means a lot and holds a very special place. And that's how I describe Faint, an energetic tune that takes me back to the time period of when I first heard it. And you know what? That's all I could hope to ask for, honestly. As time has gone on and I have gotten into other bands like Godsmack, Linkin Park still remains at the top of the list. And even though I don't go out of my way to listen to a lot of their stuff anymore, it still holds a very special place in my heart. Linkin Park was a band that I got into just at the right time. I was a guy that only really played Minecraft all day and listened to video game music. This band changed that. It was thanks to them that I was able to get into stuff like Godsmack, who I actually got to see live last year. They opened the door to a world that I originally had no interest in ever checking out on my own. And even though I never had the satisfaction of seeing them live like I was supposed to, I still really love their stuff, and I can confidently say that I am, and always have been, a true fan. Rest in peace, Chester, and thank you for all of the memories and experiences your music has given me over the years. It may have been 3 years since you left us, but the memories will always be there, regardless of how much time has passed. And this is where I will conclude this video. As I stated earlier, this will be the last rendition of this list I will do. After this, I'll do other kinds of tributes, whether they be song covers, tier lists, or whatever ideas I have up my sleeve. But that is for another time. Until then, I hope you enjoy this video, as well as an upcoming Godsmack one I plan to do as well. I'll see you then, guys. Goodbye, Luigi fans.